Welcome, good morning. This is Easter Wednesday, and this day was sort of a preparation day for everyone. Some were preparing for the Passover. Jesus was preparing for the cross. Judas was preparing to betray him. The high priest and the leaders of the nation were preparing to murder him. And I would like to read with you from Matthew 26:6. Now when Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation and said, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said to them, why do you trouble the woman? For she wrought a good work on me. For you have the poor always with you, but you will not have me always. For in that she has poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say to you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this, that this woman has done, be told for a memorial of her. And that's what we're doing even today, so many years later. So the disciples were so very offbeat. They were not moving in rhythm with Jesus. They were not following what was really happening. I could say as usual, but I don't want to mock them, because actually I found in my life that in my experience, I am so very capable to be offbeat just as much as they were. God says, come with me over there, and I just keep sitting here. He says, this is where my work is happening, and I move the other way. So, I'm not, I understand how they are. But here's something interesting, like what made them offbeat in this instance. And from John 12:5 and 6, we know that Judas did, actually, because not because Judas cared about the poor, but because he had the purse and he used to pilfer whatever was in it. He used to just take for himself. So actually, what brought them out of sync with Jesus, what derailed them, was the selfish greed of one of their own number. Okay, so it was selfish greed, and selfishness always makes us offbeat with the Lord. This is an obvious thing. You can stick a pretty story on your selfishness, just like here, we should care about the poor, shouldn't we? You can stick a pretty story on it, but really it's nothing but just the basest self-interest. And, how can I avoid, this is a good question. How can I avoid falling prey to someone else's selfishness and greed, like it happened with the disciples here? Well, a good place to start is to stop lying to myself about my own selfishness and greed. When once we are honest about that with ourselves, we admit that, then we become a lot more apt in recognizing, well, I wouldn't even say recognize it in others, but more like someone speaks from selfishness, and you are honest about that in your own life, or greed, and you already have done that, and you repent, and you are learning not to walk in that. So someone speaks like that, and just sort of leaves a foul taste in your mouth, and you're just not inclined to go that way. You're not interested in that. And when that happens, when you're honest like that with yourself, then also what happens, you witness somebody giving or serving sacrificially or loving selflessly. Okay, you see that, and you do not judge them, but instead you look at it and you appreciate, you delight in it, and you agree with it. Isn't that awesome when we can do that, when we can say, yes, we agree with that. we think it's beautiful. We rejoice with that. We delight in that. Wow, someone is serving the Lord faithfully. Something beautiful is happening with the king in the kingdom. And oh man, I want to be motivated by that. I want to learn to be like that. Such a different story. The disciples missed it, but that's why it's written for us, so that we would not keep doing it, but we would learn about moving in sync with the Lord that way. So God bless your day.